Alright, so for this part, we're going to take a look at the macros VBA file. This file is going to clean and format several of our original raw files. We do this, or I do this specifically because SSIS, for certain files that I have, for some reason, when I go to import them with their file format, it just doesn't work. So this is why we have this VBA file or this macro file to do a bit of data cleaning before we run our SSIS package. So if we open the file is automatically going to clean and format several files. So this file is automatically ran Monday through Friday at 4:50 p.m. So once this file is open, it's going to make modifications to 3 files: stock news, stock sector industry scrape, and the fidelity benchmark file. So this file, I'm not really going to show a lot of the data cleaning process, but I am going to show you what opening the file looks like and what it does when that file is open. The file uses macros for the majority of the work, and I also did a bit of VBA coding in the background. Now, I don't know VBA at all, but with the help of Google, I was able to get what I needed exactly. And it wasn't nothing too complicated. I just needed the files to be cleaned and formatted whenever the macro VBA file opened. So as you can see, once we had clicked that macro VBA file, what you were seeing on screen earlier were all the files being cleaned and formatted correctly before we import it into the SSIS package. So you can see that our file has several buttons, and the buttons are controlled by macros that I created in the background. So if I need to clean or format one of the files, I could easily click one of the buttons. So let's click the sector and industry clean button. So once this button is clicked, it's going to open the correct file, format it, and then save it. And I only click these buttons if I need to do this process manually. But as we've seen before, that once this file is open, the macros are already going to be running. The files will be cleaned, formatted, and saved as their new files, so that way it's ready to be imported into SSIS and then finally into our database. So you can see here, this is our VBA, and a majority of the coding was done through the macros, but this first couple of lines I highlighted here, that was the VBA I created. And there's not really much to show here. It's just basically going to change a couple things within those files and make sure that it's formatted properly. Okay, so now that we've gone through the whole file, which is basically really nothing to go over, just really cleaning and formatting these files, we could take a look at when these files were saved. So if you look towards the top of the file list, you can see that there are 4 files, but we only use 3. So the first 3 files you can see are all saved around the same time, between 7:55 and 7:56. So maybe like at 7:54 we might have opened the file, and so it goes through the process of doing what it needs to do, and then it gets saved. And these are the files that are used in our SSIS package. If I didn't have this macro VBA file, then those 3 data sets wouldn't be able to be imported into our database. So we've seen what these files look like in our data set section. So there's not really much of a point to go over and open these files again.